Welcome, beautiful souls, to another episode of The Matchmaker with Letitia Underwood. I am so thrilled to have each and every one of you joining me today for this special live stream. Today's topic is truly fascinating one as we dive into the world of relationships and love. We'll be exploring the insights and wisdoms from the incredible book Getting to I Do, written by renowned Dr. Patricia Allen. Dr. Patricia Allen's book is a treasure trove of knowledge, guiding us through the journey of finding and nurturing fulfilling relationships. Her profound insights have touched the lives of countless individuals, helping them to navigate the complexities of dating, love, and commitment. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or simply seeking to deepen your understanding of love, you're in for a treat today. Together, we'll explore the key principles shared by Dr. Patricia Allen and discuss how they can shape our paths to finding true connection and lasting love. Feel free to engage with me in the chat, ask questions, share your thoughts, and let me know where you're tuning in from. This is a safe space to discuss matters of the heart openly and respectfully. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let's embark on this beautiful journey together. Together, we'll discover how you can all get closer to I do and create loving relationships that stand the test of time. Thank you for being here with me, dear viewers and subscribers. Let's make this live stream an unforgettable experience. Now, let's dive into the pages of Getting to I Do and explore the transformative power of love. Okay, so today I decided to skip over chapter 7 because that chapter doesn't pertain to this channel. It's talking about the masculine energy woman and the feminine energy man, and I just thought it was irrelevant. So I'm just going to move ahead to chapter 8, which is Flirt to Attract, which is something that all feminine women are trying to figure out how to do in this day and age, and it is a great tool to have in your arsenal when it comes to flirting. So let's get started. Make sure to like and share. If this is your first time joining the channel, welcome. Make sure you subscribe, hit the subscribe button. And if you enjoy watching this, make sure to like the video, share, and leave a comment. If you want to attract a masculine energy male, you must be seen as a sex object. You take care of your body, dress sensually, fix your hair and makeup, go where men are, catch his eye, and signal your interest and availability. The 5-second flirt technique. So he won't be afraid to approach you. Smile, don't talk. If you speak first, you're the better man. What a man and a woman communicate during their initial contact is so crucial that it will determine whether they will remain strangers or become lifetime mates. Males and females flirt in different ways, so before you go out there to attract a mate, decide whether you are the male or the female energy. Packaging your femininity. Barbara, an attractive and confident looking travel industry executive, came on stage at one of my seminars, admitting that men rarely asked her out. She was charming, clever, and interesting. But although she met lots of men through her work, she almost never dated, and she was completely mystified as to why. But the moment I saw her, I realized that as a seductive female, Barbara was a visual washout. Although pretty, she was dressed that evening in a trendy but shapeless pantsuit, and she wore little makeup. I knew that Barbara badly needed to be validated as a woman. I asked whether she wanted to be the male or the female energy. The female, she said quickly. In that case, I replied, I suggest you wear this outfit only when you want comfort above everything, even getting a man. Otherwise, I suggest that you change your fashion look in order to present yourself as a sensuous looking woman all the time. But I don't want to be seen as a sex object, she said adamantly. I've worked hard to get where I am, and I want to be respected as a person. Barbara went on to tell me that she didn't want a man who was interested in the way a woman looked. She wanted one who could see inside, right through to her soul. I told Barbara that masculine men aren't sexually attracted to a woman's soul, but to a woman's physical magnetism. When a man approaches a woman, he first of all wants to see if he can have a good time with her, and that includes physical gratification. A woman may not want to be seen as a sex object, but the truth is, she has to be if she wants to attract a man. By the end of the seminar, Barbara had agreed to change her visual presentation. At home later that night, she went through her closet, picking out her outfit for the next day, one that seemed both appropriate for the office and feminine, and she discarded the clothes that seemed to deliberately deny her femaleness. By the time she left for work the next morning, she had totally changed her look. Her hair was loose, her makeup was artfully applied, and instead of a baggy slack suit, she wore a black silk blouse, short black skirt, black stockings, and pumps, topped off by a pink form-fitting jacket she hadn't worn in years. She looked both well-dressed and sensually appealing, and although she felt vulnerable, she was able to smile in the elevator at her neighbor, an attractive bachelor. He asked her out to dinner before their elevator reached the lobby. That day turned out to be one of the most important of Barbara's life. The response to the way she now looked, including compliments from her coworkers, kicked off a new understanding of how much she had been inappropriately dressed for man hunting. Trendy and chic can be statements of wealth and can appeal to other females, but often they are not sexually attractive to men. Barbara had been hiding behind her masculine clothes and had never really understood what she was doing. This change in body language communication through clothes was a new beginning for Barbara, the start of actualizing her dreams. Now she was dressing to attract a man and to find love. You don't have to be perfect. I know that you want to be loved for yourself, and maybe someday your man will love you this way. Shortcomings and all. But right now, your best chance of getting him in the first place is by looking the very best you can. The transforming yourself into the most attractive looking, lovable, and sensual woman you can be. You must pay attention to your body. Try to eat well and work out as much as you can, no matter what age you are. Your body is a reflection of your soul and your sanity. It's a statement of how much in control of yourself you are. If a woman doesn't take care of her body, if she can live in a messy environment, she is not in touch with her feelings as a woman. Mm. You must pay attention to your grooming. Like it or not, you are judged by the way you look. If you have a heart of gold but look like a slob, you are putting yourself at a distinct disadvantage. So you must think about why you are trying to sabotage your chances at romance. First impressions cannot be made a second time. Seduce his eyes, don't sabotage. Try to see this from his point of view. Would you be attracted to a man who looks sloppy and unkempt? But don't be too hard on yourself. Remember that we are all human and imperfect. So even if you are 10 pounds overweight, or you hate your nose, or your hair is too straight or too curly, take heart. Your being beautiful is not really a requirement for a man to commit to a long-term relationship with you. Men know that if a woman's body is well kept and healthy, the rest is a gift from the gods. When they're playing for keeps, men are much more attracted to a loving personality than to perfection. A beautiful woman without an amiable personality will usually drive her man away quickly. In the long run, a man wants a woman who is lovable. Take time to create your most attractive hairdo, your prettiest makeup, get into your sexiest dress, and put on an inviting smile. You want to overwhelm a man's senses by looking good, tasting good, smelling good, feeling good, and sounding good, but primarily looking good. Leave those baggy, masculine, or conservative clothes at home because they signal a lack of sexuality and you want to signal him that you are desirable. You may choose to turn him down when he makes his move, but you do want him to make the move, don't you? The bottom line is Go with what you got and go for the best you can get. Remember, even though your image of him is one of perfection, let's face it, he's not going to be perfect, and neither are you. Marketing your femininity. Now that you look great, where do you find him? It's simple. Start by going where the men are. I can't tell you how many women I meet who will stop at nothing to further their careers, but though they complain about being alone, think that going out and looking for a man is degrading. They think it makes them look desperate. They are wrong. These days, you must go out and hunt for romance with the same skill and determination you would muster to look for a job or an apartment, sorry. If you don't like being alone, do something about it. Don't stay home and expect a man to come down your chimney like Santa Claus. It's footwork that counts. Being out there among the people at parties, supermarkets, theater lines, parks, beaches, restaurants, adult education classes, and ball games, ready, willing, and able to flirt. If you choose to be the feminine energy woman, dress sensually, but of course take into account the style that suits you best. Cute, sleek, feminine. Sex appeal doesn't mean frilly, girly, or happy homemaker. It is an individual decision. Package yourself to bring out your sensual attributes in a tasteful but alluring manner. There are professional image makers out there who can help you if you have the money, but they aren't needed if you don't. As long as there are magazines, you can cut out pictures of styles you think would enhance your sexual look. Wear clothes that reveal your curves and are sensuous to touch. Make sure your hair is well cut as well as silky to the touch. The colors you choose should suit your skin tone and personality. Possibly, you could ask a friend to come with you to a fabric store and drape cloth over a white blouse or a t-shirt near your face. Your friend can tell you what enhances and what doesn't. Color attracts a man's gaze and will bring him toward you. Most department stores have face makeup sessions to sell their products. If you don't have money, get a free one and write down what the salesman says about your face. Don't forget about secondhand consignment shops, especially in rich areas where wealthy women discard last year's wardrobes. Most assistance leagues have thrift stores with great buys in clothes, purses, shoes, and accessories. With or without money, you can enhance your sensual look. Make the effort. It is worth it. Go out to at least one social event each week and when there, flirt just for fun. In the beginning, you'll be nervous and clumsy. I suggest you practice some throwaway experiences such as flirting in an elevator when you go to see your doctor or dentist. Flirt in the checkout line of a big grocery store where you don't keep seeing the same people every day. Think of these as loosening up or stretching experiences for the big run, i.e., the office party, the wedding reception, the class reunion, places where you will be known and where first impressions will count. I always recommend airports for beginners because they are a place where people are generally stranded without their loved ones and they want some kind of human interaction of a non dangerous type. Take a briefcase so you look like you're going somewhere, and don't worry whether the man you choose is married, because you are only practicing flirting. No phone number exchanges, no dinner dates made, nothing except pulling him toward you to say some innocuous things for a moment. See how many men you can magnetize in an hour. Maybe you and a friend can compete in this game. If possible, date several, at least three different men in order not to focus obsessively on one. Okay, I'm gonna have to skip over that part because I don't agree with that. When you are ready to do some serious flirting, think about the qualities you want in a man. If it's important for him to share your love of classical music, by all means, order Philharmonic tickets right now. But this time, instead of going just for Mozart, go to Flirt as well. If you feel it's important for him to be athletic, flirt at your gym or tennis court or golf course or jogging track or while biking, walking, or doing whatever sport you do. If his religion or political party is important, then flirt at church or a political meeting. Go where you go naturally, but try to view it as a pool of potential mates. Now, you may say you have been going to the Philharmonic for years, maybe alone, probably with a friend, hoping that a charming, attractive, successful single man of the right age and religious persuasion will see you, approach you, and ask you out without your having to do a thing. Instead, what usually happens is that you go to the lobby during intermission and stand around like everybody else. Occasionally, a man you think is adorable looks your way and seems as though he wants to come over and talk to you. You whisper or maybe pray to yourself, please cross the room, but he hesitates. You want to let him know you're interested, but you feel paralyzed by the attraction and by your strong emotions. So instead of looking at him, you engage in an animated conversation with your friend. If he does look your way, you're probably so nervous from your fear of rejection that you turn away. That's it. The bell rings and you go back to your seat. Another missed opportunity. Don't think you are the only person in the world who does this. I've seen women who are fearless powerhouses in the business world become petrified when they are faced with a strange man to whom they are sexually attracted. For months, Mary, a hairdresser, had been badgered by her friend Lorraine to go out in the evening with her to see if they could meet some attractive men. Mary wanted to meet someone with whom she could make a commitment, so she agreed to meet Lorraine for a drink at a small neighborhood cafe that featured a jazz group she especially liked. By the time they arrived, the room was already crowded, and Mary and Lorraine were lucky to find a small table against the wall near the stage. As soon as they sat down, Mary noticed an attractive man attentively listening and moving to the music, and then, between sets, talking enthusiastically to his friends. She liked his looks and his passion for jazz, but he seemed not to know she was there. David was a telephone repairman with a penchant for jazz and backpacking and a love of American history, who wanted most in life to marry and settle down. He had many good friends, but although he was warm and easygoing, when it came to women, David would usually freeze up, held back by his own shyness. That's what was happening now. David, in fact, had been aware of Mary from the moment she had come into the room, but he just couldn't look directly at her. Sorry, guys. Okay. Um, sorry, guys, about that. My niece is calling from college. Where was I? Okay, that's what's happening now. David, in fact, had been aware of Mary from the moment she had come into the room, but he just couldn't look directly at her. David's friend Ted told him that Mary kept glancing his way. David was pleased. Do I go over or not? He wondered, wanting to, but as usual, doing nothing. Finally, before the last set began, he managed to turn to Mary, and for a moment their eyes met. Mary felt a surge of heat go through her, but she was so embarrassed by her own vulnerability and desire that she became nervous and quickly looked away from David, who in turn felt rejected. Why doesn't he come over? Mary whispered to Lorraine in frustration. You go over and say hello to him, was her friend's advice, but Mary didn't move. She felt she simply could not go over to a strange man. Then David's friend Ted glanced towards Mary, and she managed to give him a faint smile. This only worsened matters because David saw Mary smiling at Ted and felt hurt. Just go over and talk to her, Ted advised Dave when he saw the look on his face. What have you got to lose? She doesn't like me, replied David. She likes you. Me? She's been looking at you all night. Maybe, replied David, but she looked away from me and she smiled at you. Both David and Mary went home alone for that night, each feeling rejected and each thinking about the other. Had she only followed my 5 second flirt technique, she would have magnetized David to her and perhaps begun the relationship each of them wanted. The 5 second flirt technique. My technique is easy. It's the way you invite him in by your own body language to come across the room and ask you out. You don't do anything more than smile, but if you do this properly, I promise you will have results. The first thing you want to do is to get into his line of sight. When you catch his eye, you must give him the most inviting and receptive look you can manage for 3 seconds. Count them. Eye contact, eye contact, eye contact. No quick counts, no matter how nervous you get. However, catching a man's eye for 2 or 3 seconds is quite normal. It's when you continue to look at him for the fourth and fifth second that you indicate you're interested. A second way you attract a man is with your mouth, but not to talk with it. You smile. Now you're being flirtatious. Now he knows that you're looking at and are interested in him. By now, because you are flirting with the person you don't want to be rejected by, you are probably in a panic. Your mouth may be dry. This results in three potentially disastrous experiences. Your top lip starts curling, which I call hung lip, and your bottom lip starts quivering, and even worse, perspiration drips down your blouse. For this reason, you should never flirt in silk and try not to wear pastels. The rule is never show sweat, it gives away everything. But here's the good part. Even though you're certain that he is observing your meltdown, he isn't, because he is too busy with his own anxiety and fear of rejection. At that moment, his worst nightmare is that he will come over to you and say something stupid and you will turn away. So if you live through this 5 second flirt technique, if you manage to keep your mouth shut, more likely than not, this man will walk over to you and start talking. He may say something bright or stupid, suave or naive, but in effect, he'll open the channel of conversation and now you can begin to respond. Chemical attraction. Is it for real? Naturally, unless you are just flirting for practice, you flirt with the man who triggers a chemical reaction in you. Chemistry is not negotiable, but whom you flirt with is. The initial attraction between two people is chemical. He turns you on, you turn him on. It doesn't matter if he is a truck driver or the president of General Motors, but much older than you are or much younger. Chemistry is a body to body response. You can either act on it or forget it. But if you want to act on it, you have only two choices. You can take either the male role and chase men or choose the female and wait to be chased. If you choose to be female, the way you get a man you are attracted to is by flirting. You choose him, then attract him to you. She who flirts first is female. Statistical research as well as anthropological studies show that even though a man might be attracted to a woman, before he can approach her, the sensitive part of him needs a signal from her that she is approachable and available and isn't going to reject him. Flirting is that signal. The more passive a woman is, the more potent she is. Because she attracts a man toward her, the more passive a woman is, the more potent she is because she attracts a man toward her. A woman is most erotic when she is magnetic. You pull a man close to you through your lovable exterior, your loving eyes and smile. You want him to be able to look into your eyes in order to see your gentleness and come after you. Women's eyes show kindness or cruelty. Flirting is a way to connect the inside to outside. You want to smile at him so he can see your approachability. Remember, a man is a sensitive, loving human being who is probably scared to death of crossing over that magic circle to you, only to be made to feel like a fool. But cross it he must if he is to take the masculine role. Flirting with Mr. Wrong. Often, even when we do flirt, we women are so afraid to expose ourselves to the man we're interested in that we flirt with the one next to him whom we don't want, hoping that somehow the right one will notice how wonderful we are. The problem is that, like David and most men, he has this weird idea that if you are flirting with the guy next to him, then he's the one you want. He doesn't realize that you're afraid of rejection. The worst part is that we usually attract that other guy, and then it takes us months to get free of him. Do not avoid the man you are attracted to by rationalizing that he is married or won't want you. During my weekly group seminars, I like to ask women to make this pledge. I promise, on my honor, to flirt with the person I truly want, not the easy one, for it is difficult to get rid of the easy ones. This is not rocket science, but simple chemistry. The man you are most terrified to flirt with is almost always the one who is most sexually attractive to you. Anxiety and tension are an integral part of the chemistry that causes the original attraction. True, it's no fun to flirt. We are doing it strictly to get results. For females who choose the male role, if you have decided to be the male energy in a relationship, you too will need to package yourself properly. Get a car, heel your shoes, dress well, and look as though you are a responsible and financially solvent person. For you, flirting is fairly straightforward. When you see a man you're interested in, you simply, I know it sounds simpler than it is, walk over and begin talking to him. And hopefully, your charm and personality will win him over. It doesn't matter what you say within reason. You must walk over to him and begin to talk. Then, if he still interests you, you may ask for his telephone number or say you'd like to make a date. Then you can call him or send a note, send flowers, whatever, you do the pursuing. Once you're on the date, don't forget that as with the feminine woman, the major sexual responder in a feminine man is his ears, which means that he wants to hear that you know how to pick a restaurant over the wine, order the wine, and pay the bill. He or she who speaks first is male. As I have said, it is in the very first moment of contact between two people that the male and the female roles are established. Since male energy is assertive and female energy passive, he who speaks first is male. If you speak first, even accidentally, it sets a precedent that will continue for the rest of the relationship. So you might as well sort this out in the beginning. Otherwise, it could take months before you figure out you made the wrong choice. You must remember this rule, especially if you are following the feminine role, because even a masculine man may hesitate in walking over to you. And that's when you have to endure the frustration of suppressing that voice crying within you. Just go up to him and say, "Hi, how are you?" Instead, just look and smile and wait for him to say, "Hi," or something that indicates that he wants to go on with you. Some men may wait for you to approach them, but unless you're willing to be the masculine energy in the relationship, don't do it. Don't make it easy for him. Being spoken to first is distracting to a man who is used to seeing whom he wants sexually and then going after her before he hears her invitation to connect sexually. Having chasing space, having chasing space is a turn on for a masculine man. It is then that he begins to fall in love. Investigating your incompatibility or learning how to listen. Now that you've gotten him to walk over to you, you have two goals. First, you want to begin to see if he is as good as he seems. And second, you don't want to drive him away before you decide whether or not you want to keep him. When Patty, a literary agent, saw Jerry, a psychoanalyst, waiting outside at an evening computer class they had both signed up for, she was immediately attracted to him, and he to her. They began to talk and soon they were in a lively discussion about the merits of different laser printers. After a few minutes, the conversation turned on a slight disagreement, which then escalated into a heated debate. Patty won the argument, but lost the guy. Without even thinking about it, Jerry had turned off to her by the time their class began. Patty didn't mean to turn him off. She didn't even know she had turned him off. She was just being herself after a hard day of trying to sell her clients books and making deals. But Jerry had come from a hard day at work too. All day he had to listen to people's problems, and he was tired and maybe a little irritable. That is, until he saw Patty, who was so appealing right up until the moment she opened her mouth and started correcting him. A man needs to feel respected by the woman he is sexually attracted to. But all too often, we manage to screw the whole thing up by criticizing his opinions, arguing about his philosophies, and generally making ourselves obnoxious. The end result is that he never asks us out, and we think he's a jerk. Being a sensual female means biting your lip now and then. Instead of competing intellectually with your man, Try to keep quiet and let him do most of the talking. Find out if he's dull, married, weird, or terrific. Try to learn whether he's the head of a $1 million corporation or an out-of-work bartender. When you listen to him, you want to hear about his business, what his creative mode is, where he is putting his enthusiasm. You want to know, does he change jobs every 2 weeks? Does he gamble? Is he misusing his resources? In order to respect a man, which is a turn on for most women, you need to learn that he can provide you with a good time, a lifestyle that's comfortable, and if you want children, that he can provide a home for you and your children. So instead of advice, try offering a man affection and respect. Be positive and supporting and encouraging about his ideas, his plans, his opinions. Have I gotten my point across? If he asks you a question, you can answer anything that your intuition tells you as long as you're responding to his lead and as long as you're talking about him and his goals and needs, not yours, unless asked. If you ask a question, it can't be, when can I see you again? Or can I have your number? This signals that you want to pursue him. All right, I know you may be cringing, but I never said finding the right mate was going to be easy. I just said it would be worth the effort. Patty and the literary agent has now changed her ways. Patty, the literary agent, has now changed her ways. She has learned that all people are male at work, but women who want to go female after work must leave their male side at the office so that they can relate to a man in the sensitive, sensuous, and seductive ways that will bring them what they want. If you want to be a feminine woman, you'll take at least an hour before or after work every day to do some activity that feels good and is fun for you, such as dancing, listening to music, communicating with nature, taking a bubble bath, eating a wonderful meal, having a massage, anything that allows you to practice the feminine principle of relatedness. If you go to the gym to work out and be healthy, you're not going there to be female. If you go to the gym to dance to music, to swim, or to lie around and talk to the girls, you are going feminine. The following is a pledge I ask feminine energy women who come to my seminars to take. I promise to waste at least 1 hour each day of my life tasting, touching, seeing, smelling, and hearing with no performance in mind. And I promise to share that process once a week with another human being in order to preserve my feminine ability to be feeling centered and relationship oriented. So help me God. Patty learned how to do it. She used my decline exercises, tried to keep her mouth relatively closed, and found herself an adorable attorney whom she is contemplating marrying. If it can happen to Patty, it can happen to you. Now, I'm not saying you have to go against anything you strongly believe in. I'm just saying that you should look for areas of compromise. Accept that he may have a point of view worth hearing, then hear it and go with it, unless it is unethical or immoral or it doesn't feel good to your body. Later, when you reach the negotiation stage of your relationship, you can suggest alternatives to anything that really bothers you. Remember, if he isn't a man you can respect, he isn't the man for you. Exit moves or what to do if he gives you his phone number. Debbie, a pretty dark haired photographer, met Max, a political writer, at an environmental fundraiser. As they stood together, waiting for the next speaker, Max told Debbie about a newspaper series he was writing, and she was moved by his values and idealism. Not only was he extremely attractive with a thick head of curly hair and a full beard, but he seemed kind and sensitive and unattached. Debbie was almost afraid to hope that Max would ask for her telephone number. But then, happily, he did suggest that they see each other again, only to reach into his jacket pocket and hand her his business card, suggesting that she give him a call. You know what happened next? When Debbie finally got up the nerve to call Max, he said he was on the other line and that he would call back. When he didn't, she figured he had lost her number, so she called him again. But then he wasn't in, and she left a message on his answering machine. After that, she called a few more times, but never, it seemed, at the right time for Max, who kept asking that she call back except for the one time when he did call back, dropped by her apartment, had sex with her, and never bothered to call again. It took Debbie a long time to recover from that one, but she learned her lesson and the truth about men who give women their phone numbers. When a man gives you his card, he is telling you that he wants you to pursue him. Some women believe that they are surrendering to a man's maleness by succumbing to his wish that they call him. But what they're surrendering to is his female side. And when you do call, what does he say? I don't know about getting together. I'm kind of busy. Usually he's just collecting scalps on his little boy totem pole. So if he gives you his card, don't take it. And for 21st century, if he gives you his number, his social media, don't call, ladies. Don't call. Tell him you're not comfortable calling men and give him yours. Then wait for him to call you. Let him chase you, pursue you, woo you, and wow you. Because that's his role, not yours. When a man requires a woman to give, he then becomes the female. By the way, there is a time limit on how long you have to stand around talking to a man you flirted with, waiting for him to ask you for your number. I hesitate to Sorry. I hesitate to give an exact time in case 5 more minutes would have gotten him off the dime. But on the average, if he hasn't made this move in a roughly 15 minutes and the energy has about gone out of the conversation, get ready to move on. You don't have to do a thing but look good, smell good, and sound good. The rest is up to him. If he doesn't ask for your number, forget it. Don't take it personally. Don't fall into a black hole of despair and feel rejected. That's life. You did the best you could. You didn't lose anything but a few minutes of your time, and you probably learned something you didn't know before. What should you do next? Just look for someone else and start flirting. There are millions of guys out there, and there's bound to be one who is just right for you. Business before pleasure. Now, what if you're with a man, but you don't get a chance to utilize your femininity and magnetism before he already knows how smart and successful you are? It happens almost every day. It's called a business situation. You may be sexually attracted to a nice single man with all the right qualities, yet your work depends on you giving him a dazzling display of your intellectual gifts and showing him how efficient and aggressive you are. In short, that you're as good a man as he is or better. Because, of course, everyone is male at the office. You might have to sell him your product or your service, or he might be part of the large group to which you have to give a presentation. Well, don't worry about cross signals here. As long as you're speaking to him as a businesswoman, go for the gold. You won't hurt your chances one bit if you handle both business and personal situations correctly. Sell him, pitch him, convince him, and do your deal. Then, when it is over and you meet him over the buffet table or in the hallway, don't pick up the conversation again. If you do, you're still doing business. Let him reach forward and bring you out. Be a woman again. Wait, give him your most receptive look and smile. He has already seen your dynamic, powerful side. Now let him see your other side, the shy, soft, sensual one. Trust me, he's looking for it. Be seductive through your eyes and flirtatious with your smile. A masculine man will be able to respect you as a businesswoman and still cherish your soft feminine side. But you must provide him with chasing space. Let him take control and speak first. To sum up, then, choosing to be female energy means packaging your femininity by being a woman in a desirable body, a lovable, well cared for body. Marketing your femininity has to do with going out where men are, picking one, and signaling him that you're receptive and that you are going to respect him when he makes his advance. Whether or not you're going to have to say, oh, thank you, but I'm leaving for China in the morning. Or if you have to reject him because he's married or turns out not to be as interesting as you thought, he at least has been supportive for approaching you. If all women would treat men with respect, then men would find it easier to approach the one woman who will indeed be his special woman. That could be you. Now, if you do follow these primary rules about being the female in the relationship, you will most likely reap the reward, being asked out by a masculine man. You can even make a few seemingly fatal mistakes in your technique, like talking too much about yourself or criticizing his point of view, and still succeed. But you can never make the ultimate mistake, going home and sleeping with him. Just as there are clear rules for getting a man, there are clear rules for keeping him. The foremost and most formidable is no sex without commitment. And that is the end of chapter 8. And what chapter 8 is telling us, to sum it all up, is ladies, do not make the first move. You do not even have to converse with men, talk to men, open your mouth to a man. What you do is you let your feminine magnetism do the talking for you. You smile, you look at him. As she said, the 5-second technique. You look at him, tilt your head, give him a little smile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you look away. Boom, you got him. If you are on social media, the way that you get a man attracted through social media is through your pictures. You need to have an alluring picture, a picture that says, I am a woman. I'm not trying to be a man. A picture that gives off your soft feminine energy and you are smiling. Men love to see women smile. That's why they're always saying, smile, smile, smile. I think women hesitate to want to smile because you don't want to attract someone you don't want to be bothered with. But still, you never know who you're around. And you, when it comes to the men you do want, you definitely smile. If you struggle with smiling, then yeah, you might want to go ahead and start smiling for the guys you actually do not want. But smiling is key. Hi, how are you? Smile when you say hi, hello. Well, thank you. If anyone's watched my live streams on Sundays, you see him smiling in the video, right? I get messages, Letitia, why are you smiling? I'm just so used to smiling now that I'm always doing it, unless I'm by myself, right? But I'm always smiling, especially when I'm in the company of masculine men. So you might want to practice in the mirror, practice with yourself. Just find a reason to just smile. Like I'm sitting here and I'm just smiling. So you smile, you flirt with your eyes and your smile, even when you're online. On your dating profiles, all your dating profiles should have pictures where a man can see your eyes, no sunglasses, and you are smiling. A nice soft tilt to the head. Your hand is touching your shoulder, between your shoulder and your collarbone and your neck, right? And a smile. That gives off an alluring sensuality, and it lets a man know that you're open and you're receptive. That is the key to flirting as a feminine woman. As the author said, she who speaks first is male. That's gonna put you in a chasing mode. And ladies, I'm here to tell you there's so much more in depth to this, but I would suggest that you all join the mastermind, the Get Married Mastermind, so I can break down the technique of and the art of flirting. And then also you'll learn that how these men out here are putting you in your masculine and you don't even realize it. So stay tuned for the Get Married Mastermind. And one of the discussions is how women are moving incorrectly by misidentifying masculine energy, and in fact is inadvertently attracting feminine energy males. Okay. Well, with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Again, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel if this is your first time watching. Stay tuned for tomorrow's chapter, which is chapter 9. We'll be talking about finding your prince. Okay? And again, thank you. With that being said, have a good day.